Let's start with the theories class. Two methods of arranging business combinations. You will have merger and consolidation. In a merger, only one will survive. In a consolidation, two will still coexist, but there will now be a third consolidated entity. Number two, a business combination must be accounted for as, the only answer here should be an acquisition. You have their letter B because under the old standard class, even before I was a student, this was no longer relevant. You have pooling of interest, but here we only use acquisition method class. So the answer number two is alpha. Number three, the excess of the price paid over the fair value of the net identifiable assets acquired should be recognized as. So which one is greater here? Excess of the price. Price is greater over the fair value. So this would be goodwill. Goodwill not subject to amortization but subject to impairment. Plus the options there on amortization would be more applicable to your small, medium enterprises. In your PFRS for SMEs, goodwill is to be amortized, but not when you are using your full PFRS. Number four, in an acquisition type combination, the appropriate accounting for the excess of fair values of net assets acquired over the price paid is 2. Basically, number 4 is the opposite scenario of your number 3. Number 3, price is greater in number 4. The fair value is greater. So if fair value is greater, what you will have would be your income. And which one satisfies the just alpha? Recognized as additional paid capital. Now that's the excess of the fair value over the par. Reduce proportionately current fair values assigned. No, we do not do that. B, reduce proportionately current fair values assigned to the acquirer's non-current assets, other investments. No. So the answer here would be alpha. Number 5, the cost of registering equity securities in a business combination should be recorded as stock. This would be part of your stock issuance cost. So this would be a reduction from additional paid in capital. Number 6, under the acquisition method, the retained earnings of the acquirer after the combination is equal to, if this is, it will just be the acquirer's class, but subject to increase if there is a resulting income. So the answer is letter B. What were the things you were to remember for the retained earnings class? Number 1, do not forget to add any income. And number 2, do not forget to deduct
expenses.
acquisition-related expenses. And number 3, was there a third one? Stock issuance costs in excess of the additional paid in capital resulting from the new issuance. Number 7, which of the following is included as part of the consideration given? Direct and indirect acquisition costs are to be expensed. Indirect costs and contingent consideration. Contingent consideration will be included. So the best answer here would be letter C, contingent consideration. Number 8, which of the following is not included in the price paid in an acquisition type business combination? Obviously, cash is included, fair value of the shares issued included, contingent consideration included. The only thing that will not be included out of the choices would be your investment banker's finder's fee for the combination. So this would be treated as an acquisition-related cost. So this would be expense. Number 9, which of the following is not true of a business combination classified as acquisition? The acquirer continues to exist as a separate legal entity. Question is not, class. It's not true. The acquiree ceases to exist as a separate legal entity. Both companies continue their legal existence. One company acquires the assets and liabilities of one or more other companies in exchange for stock, cash, or other consideration. Uh, the acquirer continues to exist. The acquiree ceases to exist as a separate legal entity. Acquisition. It's not true. Letter C would be the answer, class. Number 10, shares issued as consideration in an acquisition are recorded at the fair values of the date when the acquirer obtains control over the net assets and operations of the acquirer. Okay, let's proceed to the problems. MAN Incorporated purchased all of the net assets of Woman Company on January 2, 2017 by issuing 8,000 shares of its 10 par common stock. Plus everything under the acquisition method is to be measured at fair value. Kasi assets acquired, fair value, liabilities assumed, fair value, consideration given, also fair value. Contingent consideration, fair value, everything is at fair value. That is why it's possible for you to have goodwill or gain class. But if you recall in your intermediate accounting, when you acquire when you acquire assets using your shares, the value assigned to your equity instruments will adjust to the fair value of the assets acquired. But here, stick to the assets acquired, stick to the fair value of the equity instruments issued. If they are not equal, it will be balanced by either your goodwill or your gain on acquisition. Under IFRS 3, what total amount should the net assets acquired be recorded by MAN Incorporated, assuming that contingent consideration of 5,000 is determined. So basically, you record it at the consideration class. What was paid here? Was it paid in cash or through issuance of shares? How many shares were issued? 8,000. And the relevant valuation here is the fair value of 30. So you multiply 8,000 by 30. You would get 200,000. But always include the contingent consideration. So your total acquisition cost would be 245,000. Question, if you'll be asked how much is the additional share premium that will result from this combination, you compare the par value and the fair value of 20, multiply that with the additional shares issued, you will have 160,000. 13-2, the net assets of acquired company have a book value of 150 and a fair value of 180. Acquiring company paid 250 cash for all the net assets of the acquired company. Acquiring company also paid 50,000 to an investment house as finder's fee. At what amount should goodwill be recorded? What are the two things you need to solve for goodwill class, especially for 100% acquisition class or your asset acquisition? You just need the consideration and the fair value of the net assets. The consideration here again should be at fair value, and the fair value of the consideration is 250. Cash is always at fair value class. So cash of 250 compared with the fair value of 180. So you will have a difference of 70. And since it is the consideration that is greater class, you will have a goodwill. So answer here is goodwill of 70,000. What's the treatment of the 50,000 class? This would be treated as an acquisition related cost. So this would be reported as an expense. Next, on June 30, 2017, White Corporation issued 100,000 shares of its 20 par value common stock for the net assets of Black Company in a business combination accounted for by the acquisition method. The market value of White's common stock on June 30 was 36. White paid a fee of 100,000 to the broker who arranged this acquisition. Costs of SEC registration and issuance of the equity securities amounted to 50,000. The question here is, what amount should White capitalize as the cost of acquiring Black's net assets? So basically, you're asked to compute for the consideration. Is the consideration mix or shares only? It's what? 100,000 shares, and you have the contingent consideration of 120. So what's the fair value of the shares issued, class? 36. So 36 times 100,000 will give you 3,600,000. Then you add the contingent consideration of 120, you would get 3,720,000. What's the treatment of the 50,000 here, class? Charge to share premium or your additional paid in capital. How about the 100,000? This would be expense. So the 100,000 would be relevant if you're asked for the balance of your retained earnings. 13-4, what is the fair value of Rex's net assets and the amount of the increase in CJ stockholders' equity as a result of the combination, respectively? Question here is, two things are being asked, class: net assets and the increase in, is CJ the acquirer, class? Yeah. Okay, let's start with the fair value of the net assets. This should be easy to determine because normally this would be given. CJ Corporation acquired the net assets of Rex by issuing 600,000 shares of its 10 par value common stock. Subsequently, Rex was liquidated and its assets and liabilities merged into CJ Corporation. CJ stock was selling for 50 per share on January 1, 2017. The amount of goodwill recorded by CJ in connection with the combination was 6,120,000. Basically, the challenge here, class, is that you will have to work back. How do we normally solve for goodwill? Consideration minus the fair value of your net assets. Here, we're given with the consideration. We can solve for the consideration. We're given with the goodwill, and we are asked for the fair value. So let's start with the consideration, class. The acquiry was acquired by the issuance of shares, correct? And no cash consideration. 600,000, but the relevant valuation here is the fair value of 50. Okay, so you multiply 600,000 by 50, the total consideration was 30 million. And then it resulted in goodwill of 6,120,000. That would mean the fair value of the net assets. Should it be 30 minus 6 or 30 plus 6? Because if it resulted in a goodwill, that means consideration was greater than the fair value. So the fair value should be lesser than the 30 million. So you deduct the goodwill of 6,120,000 from 30 million, you would get 23,880,000. Next question is the increase in the shareholders' equity. What do we expect to increase on the side of the acquirer, class? First would be the capital, class, share capital, because shares were issued to acquire the acquiring. Okay, we can start with the share capital of 600,000 shares, and we know that the amount of increase to your share capital is limited only to the par value. Okay, I know to answer this, you can just immediately go to the 50, but if I'd like us to go by the individual elements of your shareholders' equity. First, your share capital, common stock, it will increase by 600 times 10, the par value. That would be 6 million. Where then will the other increase go? It will go to your share premium. The increase in your share premium would just represent the increase brought about by the excess of the fair value over the par value. And by how much does the fair value exceed your par value? 40. Multiplied with the number of shares issued, you will have 600 times 40. Would that be 24 million? So your share premium would increase by 24 million, while your share capital only 6 million, for a total of 30 million. But what else? You have stock issuance cost. Sorry, the net increase to your share premium will not be the 24 million because you will have to deduct the stock issuance cost amounting to 30,000. And then, how much then would be the net change in your share premium? 23,970. The 600 is in your share capital. Not yet pa. So increase in share capital is 6 million. Net increase in net increase in share premium was 23,970. The problem is, on stockholders' equity, you're going to add 6 and 23,970, but you're supposed to deduct the 300 because the 300,000 would affect your retained earnings. This would be reported as an expense, and this would be close to your retained earnings. Our correct answer here should be, how much was the fair value, class? The first item being asked, 23,880. So you will have share capital increase of 6 million, APIC increased by 23,970, retained earnings decreased by 300. The best answer here, class, should be 29,670. 29,670. Next, 13-5. What is the amount of goodwill and APIC to be recognized by company? So what are the two things you need to solve for goodwill or gain from acquisition, class? Consideration and fair value of your net assets. The difference with this problem compared to the other is that you will have to solve for the fair value of the net assets. But first, let's solve for the consideration, class. The problem tells us that pool company issued 120,000 shares of 10 par common stock with a fair value of 2,550. So we're already given with the fair value of the consideration. Okay, the second thing we need would be the fair value of the net assets. Okay, so ignore the book values, class. I hope you understand that net assets would be equal to assets minus liabilities. Okay, so current assets of 1,100,000, plant assets of 2,200,000. So total assets at fair value is 3,300,000 minus the liabilities of 300. The net assets at fair value is 3 million. Side by side, the consideration of 2,550,000, there's a difference of 450. And is that a goodwill or a gain, class? Gain, because all the choices are enclosed in parentheses. But again, how do we know whether it's a gain or a goodwill, class? If consideration is greater, then that's goodwill. If it's the fair value that's greater, then that is gain. So the gain here would be 450,000. Next question is, how much is the additional paid-in capital that will be recognized? First, let's check if there are additional share premium from the equity consideration, class. How many shares were issued? And the par value is 10 for a total par value of 1,200,000. When the fair value was 2,550,000, that means the fair value is greater than the par value by how much? 1,350,000. But why is that not in the choices? Because you will have to deduct stock issuance cost. So the second challenge on your part here would be to determine which of these costs will be considered as stock issuance cost. Plus legal fees to arrange the business combination, this would be an acquisition related expense. So this would not be part of your stock issuance cost. Costs of SEC registration, that would be a stock issuance cost. The same as the cost of issuing stock certificates and the documentary stamp tax. So your total stock issuance cost would be 35,000. So you deduct 35,000 from 1,350,000, you would get how much? 1,315,000. Next, the property and equipment acquired in this combination should be recorded at equipment. No need to solve, class. So the answer here would be 110,000. Simply the fair value. Abel and Cain corporations were combined on April 1, 2017 in a business combination, and Cain Corporation was dissolved and liquidated. For the year 2017, the companies had the following net income records. Abel Corporation, Abel Corporation, the Surviving Corporation will report income for 2013 of... When was the acquisition done, class? April 1. So the acquirer will have rights over the income of the acquiree only after the acquisition. So for the acquirer class, the income for the entire year, so that would be 80 and 1320. But for the acquiree class, only after the acquisition, so that would be 400. There's no problem with the 200 class, kay, if that was the income earned by the acquiree that is already incorporated when the company was acquired by the acquiree. So the answer here will just be 1,800,000. Who are handling this subject this semester, class? So the likely candidate to make your departmental exams, class, would be Attorney Argawanon. It's a good thing, guys. Or it could also be Attorney Dinilag. Next problem. The question here is, what is the amount of goodwill resulting from the business combination? Again, what are the two things you need to solve for goodwill or gain, class? Consideration and fair value of the net assets. Peter Incorporated paid 800,000 for the assets of ANA Company. The recorded assets and liabilities of ANA on April 27, 2017 are given below. So we already have one of the two things we need, class. The consideration is how much? 800,000. The second thing we need is the fair value of the net assets. Plus the amounts listed there are still based on the book value. How do we know? It is introduced as the recorded assets and liabilities, meaning these are the amounts that are shown in the records. So that means these are still the book value. So we will use these amounts if ever they would lead us to the fair value. On April 27, 2017, it was determined that the inventory of ANA had a fair value of 380. So replace 480 by 380. And the PPE had a fair value of 1,120,000. Replace 960 by 1,120. What is the amount of goodwill? Okay. So if the others are not given, class, that would mean that the book value approximates their fair value. For cash, does the problem have to give you the fair value of cash, class? No, cash is always at fair value. Its face value is always its fair value. Next, liabilities would still be at 360. Okay, so cash of 160, inventory of 380, PPE of 1,120,000, liabilities of 360. How much is the fair value of the net assets? Okay, so do we have the two things we need to solve for goodwill or gain? Yes, price is 800, fair value of net assets is 1,300,000. So a difference of 500. Goodwill or gain? Gain. Because that's also the reason we start with the consideration class, so that if the amount of difference is negative, then we would know that it is a gain. Okay, so this is one of the rare instances that the negative amount would be reported as a gain. So the answer here would simply be alpha. Next, what amount should be reported as total assets of the combined entity immediately following the business combination? Avon Corporation issued common stock with a par value of 450 and a market value of 700 to acquire the net assets of Bell Corporation in the business combination. Avon reported assets of 2 million and liabilities of 542. Bell Corporation's assets and liabilities had book values of 460 and 187. The fair value of Bell's assets and liabilities are 600 and 188. What amount should be reported as total assets? So this is an asset acquisition class because it says here acquired the net assets. So the assets of the acquirer and acquirer will be combined to get the answer class. How much are the assets of the acquirer class? Is it given? 2 million. Because in this case, the fair value of the assets of the acquirer is not given because it will not be relevant. But just in case both fair values are given, meaning the fair value of the assets of the acquirer and acquiree are given, understand that only the assets of the acquiree will be transferred to the books of the acquirer at fair value. The assets of the acquirer will remain at their book value. No revaluation will happen on the part of the acquirer. Okay, but that is not an issue here because only one valuation is given for the acquirer, and that is your 2 million. Next, assets of the acquiree. How much? We're given with two valuations class, the book and the fair value. Which one is relevant here? Fair value. And we have the 600,000. Okay, how much was the book value of the assets of the acquirer? 2 million. Fair value of the assets of the acquiree? 600. But why is the answer not 2,600,000 class? Because as I told you in the recordings class, do not forget to check if there is goodwill. Because if you're asked for combined total assets, your combined total assets will include the goodwill reported by the acquirer. And maybe that's the case here. Let's check. So always check for the goodwill. And how do we solve for goodwill class? What are the two things you need? Consideration and fair value of net assets. The consideration here, as stated in the problem, is how much? Which one are we going to use? 450 or 700? 700. And then deduct the fair value of the net assets. Do we deduct the 600? No, the 600 is just the assets. What we need is the net assets. What do you do? Deduct also the liabilities, but this time also at fair value. So 600 minus 188, the net assets of the acquiree at fair value is how much? 412,000. So you deduct that from 700, there's an excess in our consideration amounting to 288,000. And that will form part of the assets of the combined entity. So you add that with the 2 million and the 600, the total assets would be 2,888,000. Because if you're asked for combined total assets, aside from checking for goodwill, what else do I want you to always check, class? Check for cash payments for acquisition-related costs and stock issuance costs. What else? Also deduct cash consideration. Okay? But fortunately for you, only one thing is added here, and that is your goodwill. Okay, but it's better for you to always remember everything that could affect the item being asked. 13-10. Class, is very important for you to remember 13-10. Okay, this would basically spell the difference if you get your equity, total equity right or wrong. So, which one are to be expense? Which one are to be charged to your share premium? Okay, so those that are to be expense are all acquisition-related costs except those that are related to the issuance of your stocks. Broker's fee would be acquisition-related expense. Pre-acquisition audit fee of 40,000 also expense. General administrative costs, obviously, that would be an expense. Legal fees for the combination, also expense. Audit fee for SEC registration of stock issue. This would be your stock issuance cost, chargeable to your share premium or your additional paid-in capital. SEC registration fee for stock issue. This would be charged to share premium as well. Other acquisition costs, everything else should also be expense. So the answer here would be 50 plus 40 plus 15 plus 32 plus 6, 38, 53. How much? 143,000. Then your stock issuance cost of 46 plus 5, that would be 51,000.